Hello everyone, Lord Ryujin here, bringing you another YouTube video. Now, it was recently brought to my attention that there is a movement called Operation Platinum. And before I get into my opinions on Operation Platinum, I wanted to take a moment to explain exactly what Operation Platinum is. And I apologize for my voice, my eyes, or anything like that. I'm recently coming down from, I guess, a head cold or something. I've had some congestion in my nose and some coughing and stuff, so I'll do my best to stay composed for this video. But the thing is Operation Platinum is an idea that, I don't know really who started it. I don't know much about it. I just learned about it yesterday. But the idea is that in response to Ubisoft and what they said, which I discussed earlier about Ubisoft wanting to just dance games and make casual games and all that stuff, but in response to that, and developers who think that we only want casual games, we don't want mature rated games on our Nintendo systems, and that's not what we'll buy Nintendo systems for, Operation Platinum was designed so that when Bayonetta 2 comes out, they wanted to sell 1 million copies, and so they're encouraging everybody to go out and buy Bayonetta 2. Now, I'm both for this and against this, and now I'm going to give my opinion as to why. First of all, buy Bayonetta 2. I mean, I enjoyed Bayonetta, and the fact that Bayonetta 1 comes with it means that it's 2 games for $60. It's a really good deal, just in that alone. Second, if you have a Wii U, Bayonetta 2 should be on your must-have list, unless you really are just a casual gamer, and then I wouldn't recommend it. Maybe, pick up a copy of it and, borrow it from a friend or something and try and see it for yourself. But I personally was interested in Bayonetta 2 from the moment that they announced it, because I'm like, what, Bayonetta 2 is going to be a Wii U exclusive? I'm sold. And they made all the right moves with it. They haven't changed it that much. They've kept it in its original style, and they even included the first Bayonetta. So I mean, everything about it is just a deal. But now I'm going to get into a little bit about why I disagree with Operation Platinum. Because again, I want Bayonetta 2 to sell 1 million copies. I would love it, but I don't think it's going to prove anything. Because developers, they've made up their mind about Nintendo a long time ago. I've already gone into this discussion many times. You can see my video where I discuss an article that I read about why Nintendo is a third-party developer's worst nightmare and why I agree with that article. I encourage you to go watch that video, or even see the one about Ubisoft and their ideas that Just Dance is the only game that can sell on a Wii U system. And make sure that you leave your thoughts about any of those subjects, or even leave your thoughts about Operation Platinum and why you think that it should or shouldn't go through, and why it will or will not work, and all that stuff. But now we get into the nitty-gritty of this discussion, where I have to feel like I have to throw a little bit of common sense out there, and just a little bit of why I don't think this is going to work. Because as I said before, developers have made up their mind about Nintendo a long time ago. I mean, look at something like the GameCube, for example. A system that was, at least in my view, from the way that I remember it, it was able to hold up, if not be if it wasn't just as powerful, it was more powerful in some ways than a PlayStation 2. Because a lot of the games, like Hulk, Ultimate Destruction, Sonic Heroes, and a lot of the games that came out for like all 3 of the systems, for Xbox, for GameCube, and for PlayStation 2, look the exact same. So if the GameCube was inferior, I don't think it would be able to run Killer 7, or be able to do that shooter game 13. I don't think it would be able to do those same games up to the same quality, and even be able to do something like Metroid Prime. Think about that. The only problem that developers had with it was they had a small disc, which I don't understand why you would complain about Nintendo trying to create a system where there's less load times. You're welcome. Anyways, And then when the Wii came out and Nintendo decided, well, we tried to come out with a system that competed with the market, we're going to come out with a system that's not even going to try to compete with the market. Developers, I guess, just completely gave up on them at that point. And now that they're trying to go back, keep the casual crowd with the Wii name, but in addition, make the system powerful enough to where it can handle those games. And again, I've talked about this before with like those videos that I mentioned earlier about how if you can take something like the 360 and it uses DVD technology and it's almost 10 years old and you're able to still program for that and make it look just as, maybe not just as good obviously as like the PlayStation 4 version, you can program it for the Wii U. I mean, think about it. The Xbox One is the third selling system. I think that in terms of sales, the Xbox One is maybe close, if not third down, from things like the 3DS, the PlayStation, and even the Wii U. The Wii U may be close in sales, it may be just a little bit less. But the fact is that, from a technological standpoint, when you have to push, because remember that whole deal with Diablo 3 and how they had to work directly hand in hand to get Diablo 3 to work at 1080p. But if you can come out natively with 1080p on games like Mario Kart 8, but you can't, and you have to push it because 900p was not acceptable, and that was the only way. That was the only way. 900p was the only way to make it a smooth transition between frames. Why are you not trying to program for the Wii U? And again, I've already gone into why I think they have. I'm not going to go into that here. All I'm going to talk about is that because of the fact that developers have given up on Nintendo, I don't think that Operation Platinum is going to make a difference. I mean, they come out with excuse after excuse after excuse. I've gone into this before. If you can come out with the same engine on a mobile device, you can come out with the same engine on a Wii U. If you can come out with the same game on a difficult to program for, because I remember them saying that the PlayStation 3 was a very difficult to program for interface. But you can come out with PlayStation 3 games like they're nothing. PlayStation 4, PlayStation 3 version. You can come out with a Wii U version, especially if it's more powerful than the PlayStation 3 and 360. Just think about that for a minute. But I'm not going to go into politics with that. You just have to think about what I said of that. If developers have given up and they're making excuses, then if Bayonetta 2 sells 1 million copies, all they're going to say is, well, that's great, but that's an exclusive game. That's the only way to get it. What about third-party platform games? What about our game? What about Watch Dogs? And here's the thing. You should make Watch Dogs sell 1 million copies. And if Watch Dogs sold 1 million copies, they would probably think, you know, maybe games do sell on the Wii. Maybe they do sell on the Wii U. Maybe Nintendo consoles can have mature-rated games. And I've already gone into before, my collection of Wii games behind me have quite a bit of mature-rated games. And I'm going to go into this in another discussion about mature games and why they don't matter. The ratings should not matter. Okay? I'm not going to go into that discussion, though. Maybe in another video. But all I'm saying is that while I support the idea of Bayonetta 2 selling 1 million copies, and I think that it would be phenomenal, it would show Nintendo that, you know, you should work more Platinum games. It would show Platinum games that the work that they put into Bayonetta 2 was worth it. And it might show third-party developers that seeing mature-rated games can sell. But just like there have been developers who have said, well, we won't release it for the Wii U because it has the gamepad, and so there's a certain, you know, architecture that we have to work to include that. And I always kind of shook my head. I'm like, no, you don't, because Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze doesn't even use it. It's black the whole time. And even with certain games like New Super Mario Brothers, New Super Mario Brothers U, it just copies the game onto the screen. It doesn't do anything special. You need it for Miiverse posting, but that's about it. Otherwise, you can just port the game over. That's my 2 cents on it, of course. I just don't think that third-party developers are ever going to support the Wii U, and I think we just need to get past that. It's going to be like another GameCube, where all the good games come from first-party and second-party support. And that's not a bad thing, because I would rather have good, quality games over crappy third-party ports, because that's all they want. They want to just be able to create a game and copy it. And then, as we've already talked about with other videos, a lot of times I think they deliberately slow down the frame rate, and they deliberately just do whatever they can to be like, eh, whatever, it's Nintendo, fuck it. It's not going to sell. But that's my 2 cents, guys. Make sure that you share your 2 cents about it. What do you think about Operation Platinum? Do you think that it would even make a difference at all, like I do? Or do you think that this is something that could really be a wake-up call to third-party developers? That if they see that Bayonetta 2 is selling 1 million copies, they'll go, you know what, maybe mature games can sell on Nintendo systems. Or they just turn around and ignore it like they do everything else. Like what I was talking about with Zombie U, and how it sold more copies altogether than the Just Dance games that Ubisoft wants to bring over to the Wii U. Because I don't think it's going to matter. Ubisoft has their mind made up. Watch Dogs will be the last game that they're going to release that's a mature title for the Wii U. And more likely, with the way that they rushed Watch Dogs and all the bad stuff that I hear about Watch Dogs, more likely the Wii U version will be far, far inferior. Because if they made the PC version, and PCs are supposed to be this elite gaming machine that is the almighty god of hardware, and that's crap, imagine what a developer's going to do with a company that they don't even want to work with in the first place. So, should you buy Bayonetta 2? Yes. Should you support Nintendo with every single game that they get? Yes, especially if it's up your alley like Bayonetta 2 is for me. Because in that way it shows Nintendo what you're interested in, and it shows developers like Platinum Games what you're interested in. But you should not do it for the sake of trying to show a third-party developer that they're wrong. Because they've been proven wrong many times. Ubisoft has been proven wrong with Rayman Legends, they've been proven wrong with Zombie U, and they've been proven wrong time and time again. But yet they continue to use Uplay, and they continue to use different interfaces and different ways of doing things because that's what they want to do. It's easy for them to release an Assassin's Creed once every year and just copy and paste that formula over and over and over again and make money, rather than have to sit down and think about, okay, how can we make this game work to make this run smooth as butter within the interface of the system? Because if it was me, I'd want it on all three. I'd want it for Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft. Because that's 3 shares of the market instead of 2/3 of the market. That's all I'm saying. And if you count PC, then you're only doing 3/4 of the market instead of the whole market. However you slice the pie, they're not getting the whole market share. And that's all that I'm getting at. But thanks for watching, guys. I'm sorry for the long rant. I'm sorry for going around in circles. I appreciate you watching. I'll catch you next time.